Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we are going to have our discussion on the upcoming transit of planet Sun, which on February 13th is going to be entering the sign of Aquarius, and it is going to be transiting in this sign till March 14th. So friends, when we talk about the transit of the planet Sun, it also plays a very pivotal role because Sun, which is the significator of your confidence, of your relationship with the people in authority, if you work for the government or anything to do with art, creativity, or working on some original content. So we need the support of the planet Sun. See, we cannot even overlook this fact that at the end of the day, all the planetary vibration which influences us, originally they receive the true light from the planet Sun only. So Sun, which is the significator of the primal life force within all of us. So friends, not only this transit is going to be playing a very pivotal role, because as you can fairly see that we have reached that stage where very soon, like on February 26th, where Mars is going to get exalted. So planets are in a very dignified state. They are definitely in the excess of Rahu and Ketu, but they are in a very dignified state. And the moment Sun is going to enter the sign of Aquarius, it is also going to get conjunct with Jupiter as well. Now you cannot even overlook this fact that the relationship of Sun and Jupiter can be looked at in this way, that if Sun is the significator of the king, so in the council of the minister of the planets, Jupiter is the significator of the preceptor. So even a king, in order to function with the best of his capabilities, he needs the right set of advisor to counsel him. So this is how the energies are going to manifest. And friends, the beauty of the Aquarius sign is that no matter how malefic the planet is, or there is no planet which finds itself in a very conflicting state or in a very inimical state being placed in the Aquarius sign. Aquarius is an energy which is not only represents humanitarianism, philanthropy, innovation, new age way of looking at things, being very humble, but along with that it gives very good fertile functioning grounds to all the planets. So that is something friends which I wanted to say, because as you know that the transit of Sun in its monthly transit, in whichever house it is going to be entering, whichever natal planets, if you have some of the natal planets being placed in the Aquarius sign, so definitely heightened sense of confidence, ambition can be experienced in that specific area of life. So rather I would say that this conjunction of Sun and Jupiter is definitely going to work in our favor only, where both the planets are going to support and positively contribute to each other. Whether we talk about Sun getting the support from the wisdom which it is going to receiving from the Jupiter, and Jupiter in return also getting benefited because of the original true light of the Sun. So whether your outlook towards life, or you are in a field where a lot of intellectual aptitude is required, you are a teacher, you are a professor, you are a lawyer, you are a banker, all those people can definitely experience very good results. So that is something friends which I wanted to say over here. And just because friends, when we talk about the Aquarian energy, not only this sign in itself represents and manifests the humble qualities of planet Saturn, but also in a way because Sun is going to be completely opposite to its own ruled house or the sign, which is Leo. So that in itself tells about that there is going to be a very least possibility that native is going to, or anyone is going to act out of being egoistic, being rash. So very humble way and wise intellectual way of looking at world, looking at things, specifically where this Aquarius sign is going to be falling in your chart. That is how you can see that results are going to manifest. So okay friends, now we will take our discussion to the next section, and now we will have our discussion that bases your ascendant, this transit of Sun in the Aquarius sign, what kind of results it is going to be manifesting for you. So friends, starting with the Aries ascendant natives. So definitely friends, in your case I have already mentioned this thing so many times that right now planets are in a very dignified state in your chart. Not only your ascendant lord, which is soon going to be getting exalted in your 10th house, Saturn is already there in your 10th house, Mercury is dignified right now in the 10th house till the 5th of the March. So planets are in a very dignified state, putting more and more emphasis in your professional endeavors and attainment of your professional goals. So now friends, the moment Sun, which is your 5th house lord, it's going to enter your 11th house. So I can say this thing with confidence that, for example, whether you are a student, you are in any sort of artistic or creative field, anything to do with the competitive sports, if all those things are getting qualified in your case, and you are in that stage where you have submitted any of the written content work by you, you have submitted your work and you are awaiting the result on that, or any sort of outcome where fame prospects, where recognition prospects, any sort of acknowledgement, approval, support, sponsorship, if all those cases are getting qualified in your case, so then some good results can be anticipated with your 5th house lord Sun entering the 11th house. Friends, I have said this thing so many times. When we talk about anything to do with the fame prospect, recognition prospect, that is something which we always associate with the planet Sun. And 11th house in itself is the house of success. All the prominent people, all the successful people are residing in the 11th house of your chart only. And the good part of the 11th house is that, friends, this is the highest of the Upachya Bhav. So that means all the malefic planets, all the planets hold this key to manifest very good results. They can take time. Like many times what happens is that people who are in their early first half of the life, they keep on asking me this question that, okay, my 11th house is so empowered, why I'm not getting results? And how old are you? You are like 18-year-old, you are 15-year-old, you are 24-year-old. So friends, the thing is that the 11th house takes time to grow and start manifesting results. So I would say that for the Aries ascendant native, anything to do with the 5th house related, pertaining to 5th house related matters, good recognition can be foreseen. And even in the matters of love, romance, because your 5th house lord is going to come in the influence of the planet Jupiter over there as well. So success in the love, romance, romantic liaisonship, all those things can also get manifested. So whether you talk about anything to do with art, anything to do with creativity, spiritual prospect, or just the recreational aspect of life, like I'm just looking at having a very active social life for all the Aries ascendant native, and you might run into someone very prominent, very influential during this transit of Sun in your 11th house, where very soon your ascendant lord is also going to get exalted in the 10th house as well. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Taurus ascendant natives, Sun has got the rulership of your 4th house, and in transit Sun is going to enter your 10th house. So which can be seen as a very good sign, specifically friends, if your occupation, your nature of work, your livelihood entails or involves anything to do with the 4th house related matters, where we talk about architecture, we talk about construction, real estate, luxury goods, or buying and selling of vehicles. So if 4th house related matters are a part of your livelihood, so during this time when Sun is going to be transiting from your 10th house, it is going to get conjunct with Jupiter over there as well. So you can fairly see some recognition, some good sign up, good agreement, all those things, all of your hard work from the past which might not have been able to see the daylight, see the recognition, prominence, can actually manifest during this time when Sun is going to be transiting from your 10th house. Friends, the beauty over here is that when we talk about the 4th house and its connection with the 10th house, so straight away, like 4th house is something where we talk about your inner emotional self. So with your 4th house lord being transiting in the 10th house, being conjunct with Jupiter, that sense of drive, that sense of optimism, trying to prove yourself, doing something better, reaching and attaining next level in your professional aspirations, all those things can be foreseen. And I would say, friends, that regarding your professional matters, your professional endeavors, if you are in that nature of work where you work in a fixed corporate environment, so you might be able to have some, or you will get a chance to establish a good rapport or connection with your bosses. And for all those people who are freelance, or in whose case working from home, or your nature of work involves liaisonship, meeting new people, so regarding and pertaining to your professional endeavors, you might run into someone who is prominent, someone who is influential, who might play a very important or key role during this time for your professional progress. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Gemini ascendant natives, Sun is the ruler of your third house, and in transit it is going to be moving to your ninth house, which can be seen as a very good sign. So friends, when we talk about the Gemini ascendant and specifically third house connected professions, where all those people who are freelance, self-employed, you are in the fields of sales, media, marketing, lifestyle coach, trainer, or you are a teacher, you are a lecturer, you are a professor, you are connected with the fields of law, so all those people can get benefited. I would say friends that generally what happens is that third house is the house which represents initiatives, and just because it is also sixth house from your 10th house as well, so I would say that the third house lord going to the ninth house can be seen as a very good sign. Like, this is actually a time when you can take the leap of faith. This is the kind of exact formation which is forming for all the Gemini ascendant natives. And not only that, even Jupiter is also conjunct with Sun once the Sun is going to get entered to your ninth house. So I would say that if you are in that stage of your life where you have to reach out for some new collaboration, you need to experiment with some new line of work, all those people who are trying to launch some new product or some new idea you are working on, so I would say that you can actually take a leap of faith, and because of your resourcefulness, how skilled you are, how proficient you are in your line of work, some good recognition can be anticipated with your third house lord being transiting in the ninth house. And friends, I always say this thing because third house has something to do with the communication, ninth house is the house of the religion. So even during this time, whomsoever you have your faith in, like whether you have faith in Jesus, you have faith in Lord Shiva, you have faith in Lord Hanuman, whomsoever you have faith in, even reciting or reading the glory or the books devoted to your Isht Devta, your choice of or your favored god, can actually bring some very good results during this time when your third house lord is going to be transiting in the ninth house. Moving at friends, now if you want to understand the results for all the Cancer ascendant natives, so friends, in your case, like Sun, which has got the rulership of your second house, of your finances, of your speech, and Sun is going to be entering in the 8th house, so that in itself could be seen as a little bit sensitive sign which can only work in your advantage if your line of work is connected with the 8th house related matters, anything to do with insurance, with revenue, with spirituality, astrology, anything to do with yoga, even all those people who are connected with the adult industry, all those people can actually get benefited. Some new line of work, some new insights can actually fall upon you because of the combined energy of Sun and Jupiter taking place in your 8th house. But friends, when we talk about working and taking financial decisions where credibility issues are there, where there is a lot of vagueness, where there is not much clarity, dealing with new people, if all those situations or circumstances are getting qualified in your case, then you have to remain a little bit cautious. And when we talk about second house, friends, second house also tells about your speech. So your second house lord going in the 8th house can actually make your speech very penetrating, very insightful, very researchful, but many times, like, you should not sound ambiguous while speaking on any important occasions or events. Moving ahead, friends, now if you want to understand the results for all the Leo ascendant natives, so friends, in your case, Sun is definitely your ascendant lord, and in transit it is going to be entering your 7th house. So friends, as you can fairly see that the whole ascendant lord going to the 7th house means your whole attention, your focus and your drive is going in the matters of the 7th house. Now it all comes down to which all 7th house related matters you give priority in the life. So for example, if you are a kind of a person who's very much devoted towards your matrimonial life, towards your family life, so your whole focus is going to go in the matters of the 7th house to enhance them, to improve them, to beautify them. But let's say, for example, if you are in that stage of your life where you are holding some government seat and you are right now in some important decision making, in important stage or phase of your life, so the onus of the responsibilities or answerabilities might get suddenly very high. Like, the answerability is going to be high, so you have to actually make a healthy or fine balance. And when we talk about the 7th house related matters, ascendant lord going in the 7th house, so material gains can still be anticipated if like you are in any sort of your own business, any sort of commercial activities are getting qualified. But the thing is that friends, while dealing with the world, while dealing with people, you have to be very humble. So that is the one thing which I want to say, because when sun goes to the 7th house, it kind of feels little bit uncomfortable, because it has to compromise on its degree of self-importance, or the kind of the ego needs to be compromised whenever sun goes to the 7th house. But the good part over here is that because Jupiter is also placed over there, so whatsoever your moves are going to be, you will not be perceived as someone who is egoistic, rather you will be perceived as someone who is wise, who knows how to present himself in any given circumstances. And I would say that if in your case any sort of like you are in mass media field, anything to do with creativity, content creation, dealing with the world, performing arts, if all those fields are getting qualified in your case, so you might be able to connect well with your audience during this time when sun is going to be transiting from your 7th house. Moving ahead friends, now if you want to understand the results for all the Virgo ascendant natives, so friends, when we talk about the like Leo or Cancer signs falling in the Dushtana Bhava, like 12th house, 6th house, 8th house, they do not get the, like sun never gets the dosha of the ownership of any Dushtana Bhava. But the only concern over here is that the 12th house lord going in the 6th house is kind of creating this energy that your energy, your drive is definitely go, and it will be very much invested in fixing up the hassles or the issues which might be looming over you for a long time. So that is the one line of work which I want to say and advise to all the Virgo ascendant native, that try not to be in a rash, in a impulse while taking important decision, because sun, which is the significator of the your public image and all of that. So 12th house lord going to the 6th house, so if you will be put forth in a situation where you have to deal or reconcile or arbitrate any messy situation, any contradictory situation, so do justice to that. If any fallout or any mistake which might happen from you while executing your duties, you might be held answerable or accountable for that. So if specifically your line of work involves like dealing with the foreign trade, foreign accounts, anything to do with arbitration, with law, with health industry, medical industry, fitness industry, so try to remain very cautious while dealing with any sort of contradictory situation. When we talk about friends, your like 12th house lord going to the 6th house, Jupiter is also present over there, so I would say that this can be seen as a very good energy. This can be seen as a very good time for you guys to fix up all the things which need to be fixed in your daily work life, all those routines, all those habits, all those resolutions and vows. So this is going to be time when the transit of sun, because wheresoever and whichever house it goes, sun brings the light, sun brightens up the signification or matters of that house. So if in your daily lifestyle there are certain habits, there are certain activities, some issues in your dealing with the people in your daily work environment, if there are some issues, you will be able to see them clearly, and with the due support of Jupiter, you will be able to fix and work on them as well. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Libra ascendant natives, sun has got the rulership of your 11th house and it's going to be transiting in your 5th house. So friends, to begin with, if you are in that stage of your life that you are married or you have children, so because of the accomplishment of your children, your public image, your name might also get enhanced. The second thing is that friends, because 11th house in itself represents all sort of recognition, all sort of titles and all. So 11th house lord coming to your 5th house can be seen as a very good news in this regard, that for example, if in the past you have approached people with any of the business ideas you have, or whatsoever your aspirations are, you have approached important people or even any sort of job opportunities, so all those applications filed by you in the past might suddenly get noticed, might suddenly get the attention of the right set of people who might even approach you. So from that regard, this transit of sun in your 5th house can be seen as a very good sign. Friends, try to understand this thing, that when we talk about the transit of sun in the 5th house, it is generally considered as a very good transit movement, because in the original Kalpurush Kundli, 5th house belongs to the sun. So that means 5th house, which represents your intellect. So some original creative idea might come to you, or your recognition aspect, because when we talk about the personal magnetism, that is something which we see from the 5th house. That is the only reason 5th house represents your personal magnetism, which opposite to it is all the important people, all the titles, all the opportunities. So it's your personal magnetism only from the 5th house which attracts opportunities. So the point which I'm trying to make over here is that definitely your personal magnetism is going to be very strong during this time, and it all comes down to how you are going to utilize that. Basis the evolutionary level of the soul, basis your lifestyle choices, in which stage of your life you are in. If you are a kind of person who is always in the party mode, who is always looking for next adventure, so you can get a chance for all those activities. And if you are a kind of person who is working on some original craft, you are a creative person, you are a screenwriter, you can also get benefited. The important aspect is that your mind will actually function very much driven, and some original working on some new ideas can also be foreseen with the transit of sun over there in your 5th house. And not only that, friends, like two very important planets transiting from your 5th house can also be seen as a very good sign in progressing in any sort of spiritual austerity as well. Moving ahead, friends, now if you want to understand the results for all the Scorpio ascendant natives, so friends, in your case, as you can freely see, that sun has got the rulership of your 10th house, and 10th house lord transiting in the 4th house can be seen as a very good news. In this regard, friends, that when we talk about the 10th house which tells about your professional aspirations, and 4th house, like, which generally is connected with all those people who are engaged in the fields of real estate, construction, and just because your ascendant lord in itself is ruled by the planet Mars. So I would say that if you are working in all those connected and related fields, some sort of recognition, some sort of opportunity can come to you because of your 10th house lord coming to your 4th house. And definitely, friends, like even these days, like lot many people who are working from home, these people can also get benefited. Like your boss are actually going to trust on you. Some new projects, you might get a chance to work on those big projects or those coveted projects on which you always wanted to work on. And I would also say, friends, that definitely, like, this is going to be time period where, like, when we talk about in your domestic life, some sort of recognition, some sort of home gathering. And sometimes what happens is that, friends, we do not even realize, like, you just you had a party, you called people, and from one friend to another friend, and while having a chit chat, suddenly you got some idea, you got some breakthrough. So those kind of events and circumstances can be foreseen. So I would say that open up your heart, open up your doors, open up your circle of influence during this time when sun is going to be transiting from your 4th house. And I would say that even in the domestic life, any sort of renovation or 4th house related or connected professions and people engaged in those professions can actually get benefited because of the transit of sun in your 4th house. Moving ahead, friends, now if you want to understand the results for all the Sagittarius ascendant natives, so definitely, friends, in your case, sun has got the rulership of your house of luck and fortune, one of the most auspicious trine house in our Vedic astrological chart. And in the transit, sun is going to be transiting in your 3rd house. So friends, when we talk about the 9th house lord transiting to the 3rd house can be seen as a very good sign. Specifically, all those people who are writers, or all those people who are connected with the fields of law or banking or teaching. So I would say that during this time period, the support of luck will definitely help you in any of your endeavors, because 3rd house is the house of our initiatives, 3rd house is the house of our mental aptitude. So regarding all of those front, 9th house lord coming to your 3rd house can also indicate some sort of work related travel as well, if that is getting qualified in your line of work. And I would say, friends, that 3rd house is the house of our circle of influence. So some opportunity, some influential person, you have been reaching out, you have been trying to get into kind of a meeting with that person. So all those things can materialize, all those projects of yours which needed a thrust, which needed a kickstart for a long time. All those projects can get initiated during this time when Sun is going to be transiting from your third house. Moving ahead friends, now if you want to understand the results for all the Capricorn ascendant natives, so definitely friends, in your case Sun has got the rulership of your 8th house and it is going to be transiting to your 2nd house. So now friends, when we talk about the 8th house lord coming to the 2nd house, I have already mentioned this thing. Although Sun never gets the dosha of the rulership of any Dushtana bhav, but 8th house in itself is a very chaotic energy of scandals. And 8th house lord coming to your 2nd house, that in itself means that you have to protect your financial dealings during this time, and you have to specifically protect yourself from getting involved with anyone who has credibility related issue or putting your money in the questionable activities or engagements. So try to protect your financial dealings during this time for any sort of temptation or any sort of person dealing with him where credibility related issues are concerned. And friends, when we talk about 8th house lord coming to the 2nd house, that can only be seen as a good news for all those people in whose case the 8th house related professions are getting qualified. You work in any sort of, like all those people who work on as a broker, who have a contractual setup of work, or who work on the commission basis. You are an insurance agent, anything to do with the spirituality or astrology or adult industry, all those people can definitely get benefited because of the 8th house lord coming to your 2nd house. I would say that friends, when we talk about your speech, you should not sound very pompous. You should not say something which can stir up some sort of controversy. So while speaking at some important situations, circumstances or events, you have to remain very cautious and very transparent and clear with your speech. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Aquarius ascendant natives, Sun has got the rulership of your 7th house and it is going to be transiting to your 1st house or to your ascendant. So friends, to begin with, definitely your partner might ask and demand a lot of your time during this time period. The second thing is that your public image might also get enhanced because of the accomplishment of your partner. So from that front, this transit can be seen as a very good sign. The third thing is that friends, like let's say for example, if you are in any sort of public office, if you are holding any government or public seat or dealing with the masses is your line of work, nature of work, so the onus of responsibilities and answerability might suddenly become very high. So you have to do justice, because all the eyes will be on you and they will be asking of actions and the kind of the answers from you. So you have to remain a bit cautious while dealing and working on any of those important matters. When we talk about any sort of partnership, agreement, attracting all sort of opportunities, so definitely Sun is shining right over there in your 1st house. And the beauty of this transit is that it's not only the Sun which is giving you that sort of magnetism, that sort of sunshine, that everyone is attracted to you, everyone is looking at you, but the beauty over here is that because of the support of the Jupiter over there. In any case, Aquarians are the most naive, most humble, most philanthropic and helpful people. So otherwise there could have been a little bit fear of Sun suddenly increasing your ego, but that fear also get diminished because Jupiter is also sitting over here compensating and instilling right set of wisdom for you to make right set of choices if certain opportunity or people of prominence will come to you or approach you for any work or any sort of opportunity. And lastly friends, if you want to understand the results for all the Pisces ascendant natives, so definitely friends, in your case, as you can see that Sun has got the rulership of your 6th house and it is going to be transiting in your 12th house. So friends, to begin with, definitely this can be seen as a time period where you cannot suddenly expect any sort of recognition. The recognition aspect is something which is going to come once your 6th house lord is going to come to your ascendant, which is not a very far away time period. Like on 14th of March, Sun is going to enter your 1st house. But before that friends, this time period or the whole time period is creating that sort of energy that you have to work very hard. 6th house lord in itself demands hard work, and trust me friends, all those sacrifices, all those adjustments which you are doing in your daily work life, which you feel that immediately or currently are not reaping any result. But once your 6th house lord is going to enter your 1st house, you will definitely see the sunshine coming to you and the recognition will start pouring in. So that is the one thing, friends, which I want to say. And for all those people who are in the fields, like, because many Pisces ascendant native, they end up choosing all those fields of compassion, Ayurveda, healing, medical industry, or the health industry. So all those people can definitely get benefited because of the 6th house lord transiting in the 12th house. Because, friends, the axis of the 6th house and 12th house is the axis of finding the answers of any esoteric problems in a very unusual way. And unusuality over here means reaching out and seeking out the support from the higher dimensions. And because of your spiritual devotion and your spiritual austerities, capacity to find the answers from the universe for all those problems or troubles, whether you are going through or all those people who are going through and you are trying to aid them or help them. So this is something, friends, which I wanted to say as a general guideline or transit results for the transit of Sun in the sign of Aquarius on February 13th. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.